Sports guys talking wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. What's up, man?
Does it really constitute sports guys if there's been no sports? I mean, unless you've been watching Belarus Premier Soccer like I have.
I've been catching up on NFL draft. Because that's in a couple weeks.
I mean, it's no.
You got the draft.
Yeah, but
that's like Christmas. That's like Christmas for football fans.
I can play manager mode on FIFA. It's the same deal.
But I can watch the draft. We can see who the next big thing for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be. I know one man that will agree with me, and he joins us on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline because I know he's a huge football fan. He is none other than the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer, and one of the myriad of hosts for SiriusXM Busted Open. It is our friend, Mark Henry. Hello, Mark.
What's going on, Stu? What's up?
So, are you excited for the draft?
I am, man. I mean, like you said, it's Christmas. Everybody gets some shiny new toys, and you got to figure out where they're going to work and where you're going to play with.
You're right. I saw an alert that said Kyler Murray is hoping that the Cardinals will draft CeeDee Lamb because he wants his old OU Sooner teammate to join him there. Which, I'm sure that makes guys like Jim Ross happy, but, me, I couldn't care less. I want to see Kyler Murray on his back every possible chance he gets. But he's a Sooner. I'm sorry.
Once they get to the pros, as long as they're not throwing the horns down,
that's
they're
right.
all right with me.
That's right. I mean,
I definitely, when they're in college and we're on the college football landscape, I want to see every Sooner on their back.
That's right. He's no Baker Mayfield, and I covered Baker in high school, and I know how good of a talent he is, but he could be a knucklehead sometimes. So, we got you on because you have a new YouTube show called "It's Not a Sports Show." So, tell me what inspired you to start this YouTube show.
Man, I was talking to my guys, one of which is a movie producer and a casting director. And the other one is a very smart guy, IT guy, that just happens to be the best battle rapper in Texas history. He's won so many awards and has competed on the national level. And we have the barbershop talk.
Yeah.
We have the guys at the cigar bar chopping it up talk, and we talk about sports, but that's not the emphasis of what we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of everything, and I was like, man, we should do a show like this, and he was like, man, you how many sports shows you do? I said, but this is not a sports show, and I was like, that's what we'll call it. And that's how it all came about. And I wanted to start recording shows, and we recorded a few. And we had a choice group of people that we trust and like to troubleshoot and, knock some ideas. It was like, look, it's a little grainy, it's a little rough around the edges, but I love the content. I love the guests. And being me, I've been able to call some friends and call some people I know that you would know if you heard their name. And man, it's been fun.
Well, you being you, that doesn't surprise me, sir. But I have to ask you, can you give us kind of a preview of content-wise what you're aiming at? Is it more like lifestyle, where you guys are just talking shop, or can you give us an idea?
Well, I mean, this show is not PG. We've had like professors and doctors, but we've also had adult film entertainers, wrestlers. We have actors. Just for TV hosts, you got we had Rod Babers on. Papers, we call him Papers Babers.
Yes, Rod Babers.
anybody that knows Rod and has done a show with Rod has like 5 feet of loose leaf paper.
Yes.
That's got all kind of scribble, scrabble, some of it legible, some not, but it's all stats and things that have happened in history and ideas that come to his head, and he write it down. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, Rod Babers, 1/3 of the triple option with RBKD, 3 to 7 weekdays on the Horn. He has single-handedly kept the paper business in, as an essential business just by the sheer amount of paper he buys. If you and you're right, when you see him, he'll have paper spread. We work with him. I work with him during Big 12 Media Days, and we're at AT&T Stadium, and he's got most of the end zone covered in nothing but loose leaf paper with all these notes, and he's going back and forth, and he's hitting this one and that one, and it's only as Rod can do.
Confusion.
Oh God, yes. Oh, absolutely. Talking with Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, WW Hall of Famer. Follow him on Twitter at @TheMarkHenry, and you can follow the show on Twitter at @NotASports1. It's called It's Not a Sports Show. You can find it on YouTube. And it's also a podcast. Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
So
we started off thinking that we would just do it on YouTube, and then we were advised that it is so easy that people can take just little snippets of it and do radio. So it's out there.
I saw the first episode. It's on YouTube now. Like you said, you had Xavier Woods from New Day on there talking about gaming. The funny thing was, you guys started out talking about Tiger King. Yeah. And I had to laugh because, not only have you had personal experience with Tiger King, I've had personal experience with Tiger King because he has a very ancillary connection to pro wrestling, and that would be through our friends at Texoma Pro Wrestling up in Sherman. I worked a few cards as their ring announcer. He was there filming the shows and providing commentary, which, wow. Yeah, something else. Let me ask you this. So you're doing this show, and then you've mentioned it's going to be everybody from wrestlers to actors to, just all manner of pop culture. Give us kind of a preview of what we will see in future episodes.
Just some heavy duty comedic presence. We've got George Wallace coming on. We have, of course, an Austinite, and went to Anderson High School. Gabe Luna, who was the Terminator, and he also was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and so many shows that Gabe has done is on the show. We have David Arquette, who, of course, held the World Heavyweight Championship when he was with WCW. Mm-hmm. So it's just a myriad of people that you recognize, but not talking about the world that they're in. It's like, I'm fortunate enough to have enough friends of mine that are celebrities. The last thing you want to talk about is what you do for a living. And this is people that get a chance to talk about their passion for video games, their passions for the arts and cooking or whatever. We go down rabbit holes, man, where we start talking, and then somebody's name will come up, and they'll go, "Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, I know him too. Let's call him." And then we just stalker call people, and just have conversations like, "Hey, man, what you doing?" "Oh, man, living in this pandemic world." And then we'll start talking about the pandemic for a little while, and then we'll start talking about life. Talking about the stuff that the fans want to hear about. People that like you go to the barbershop, there's always that one guy that's not in the conversation, that he's listening, and then he goes, "Yeah, I've been there before." And then you go, "Who the hell are you?" And it's like that's what we do, man. For lack of a better term, We barbershop talk. We're guys that you would notice and recognize, but just talking from a different plane.
Right. I had to laugh with you and when Xavier was on, and you started talking about the NASCAR e-racing that they've been doing on Fox and showing the several different NASCAR drivers driving the simulators, and that's been on TV. And you went down the rabbit hole of talking about there was a gamer that was put into an F1 car, or I think it was Formula E car, and defeated or beat the track time of one of their actual drivers. And I had to, it wowed me, and I remember hearing something about this because I've covered Formula One, I've covered the U.S. Grand Prix when it comes here to Circuit of the Americas every year, and I'm just picturing my mind someone climbing into, say, Lewis Hamilton's car or Sebastian Vettel or one of those drivers. And some of the guys that drive in Formula One and even in the lower series, you might think they're gamers because they are so young. I mean, they're starting them so young. So I started thinking about, okay, what would happen if? And I've taken laps in on that track in other vehicles, and I can only imagine what it would be like to try and maneuver yourself in a open wheel car around that 3.4 miles. So, I mean,
you drove the Raptor?
I did not. I rode. No, I rode. I did not drive. I rode in an Aston Martin. It was driven by a young man by the name of Bruno Senna. His uncle is a Formula One legend, Ayrton Senna. Won the world title a couple times. Won in Monaco several times, just a F1 legend. And Bruno's his nephew. And so I rode around with Bruno and taking some of those curves and going down that back straightaway between turn 11 and 12, hitting like 150, 160 miles. And Bruno and I are talking about Texas barbecue, just like it's nothing. And meanwhile, I'm feeling all the G-forces just in an Aston Martin, the very ones you could pick up at an Aston Martin dealer for, however much, way more than I can afford. Yeah, but, still, it was incredible. So I can only imagine what it'd be like to be in a Formula One car doing that as well.
And the funny thing about it, the thing that tripped me out the most is I didn't know that we were going to go down that rabbit hole. And I had no clue that happened. And listening to the conversation, all I could say was, no, you're kidding me. Like, there's not a regular guy that played video games. They put him in a simulator and a specialized car, the same attributes that this guy's car would have. Mm-hmm. And he beat the pros, and they went, yeah. And I was like, that didn't happen. We got to go to the fact checkers.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about how many times you've been at a bar or you've been somewhere, club or something, and you're talking with your boys, and they say something, you go, that's not true.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say.
Like, let's bring out the fact checkers.
Well, that's right.
And so that's one of our ongoing things is bringing out the fact checker. And also, a lot of times, we call it flexing.
Yes.
And you go somewhere and somebody goes, oh, George Clooney's calling me. And you go, oh, he's flexing. So a lot of that goes on because the circles that we run in, Dino being a movie producer and me being an actor and an athlete and a sportsman for 30 years, like I know people that you would be like, get the hell out of here. Yeah, man, I was just talking to Earl Campbell and he was saying, and they go, oh, you flexing. So there's a lot of that going on, and we get our host to do it. We bring the host in, like our guest that week or that show. We get them involved, and Gabe Luna, he was like, at some point I got to flex, and I was like, hey man, whenever you feel it, let it flow. And he said, well, I'm gonna end the show like this. He said, hold on, let me show you something. And then he starts walking through his house, and he goes to this wall, and I'm giving up the show. And he points to a picture on the wall and puts the camera up to it, and it's him and Obama.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, mic drop. and we was like flex, and just a bunch of kids, a bunch of guys having fun. That's what the show is, and people get to be in on it. You get to sit there and go, damn, I wish I was there live. That's what the emphasis of the show is.
Amazing. I can understand. I can see that happening, and that's really cool. You and franchise. That's the battle rapper, correct? Franchise, yeah. And it's not like what you think. It's PHRANCHYZE franchise.
Yeah.
So you've got the two of you, and who's the third person? I forget.
Dino McGlaris. He's an actor. He's a director, producer, and did the movie Slaughterhouse. And I mean, he's a really, really classic dude. He's shot a lot of my tape for movies and ads and stuff. So we talked so much that it was only fitting that we start doing something work-wise together. And man, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
It looks like
cover wrestling with pros. Get to talk football with guys that have played at the highest level. We're gonna have Bart Scott on next week, and
nice. Willie
Colon that won the Super Bowl with the Steelers. And it's like when you got access to people that played. That Rob Baber said he wasn't that good, but he was on an NFL roster. Like, how good do you have to be?
Right. And for a little longer than a cup of coffee too. I mean, he
played 4 years,
right, with the Giants. I know. I mean, by the way, and Willie Colon's one of the best guys on earth. We got to know each other a couple years ago at the Super Bowl, and such a really good dude. Really good dude.
Yeah, yes. See, he gets it. Say you flexing.
I'm flexing. Absolutely. Oh, I could flex. Believe me, I can flex. I got eight Super Bowls under me. I could flex. I drop your name when I flex. Come on.
Is that a flex if you admit that you flex to the person that you flex their name to?
I don't know.
It's still a flex.
It's still flex. Mark, I have an odd question for you. Were you always this outgoing personality-wise, like growing up?
Yeah, my mom used to say all the time as a little kid, she was like, God, I wish you could make some money acting a damn fool. And I was like, here I am. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for the prayers.
Little did she know, right?
Little did she. And she got to experience it with me, man. Like traveling. She got to, being from Silsbee, your expectation of success is pretty low unless you get an education and thrive and push yourself towards a job that can take you out of that. Nobody expects a guy to become the strongest guy in the world. But my mom got to travel with me. She got to go to Barcelona to see me compete in the Olympic Games. She got to meet Oprah, Flex, and all kind of stuff, like that I feel like, man, I was able to help her leave Silsbee, even if it was just for a short time before she passed. She got to experience some things with me that, a lot of people would just go, that didn't happen. Yes, it did. and I enjoy it. I feel like I've been really, really blessed. It wasn't a byproduct of luck, because you got to be on time and you got to be prepared, and that's what creates your luck. But I feel like I got some extra blessings because I've been able to give some of those blessings back. And we talk about that philanthropic thing where you give back and help people and make it bigger than you. And, that's just the way I feel, man. I've been really, really blessed.
I couldn't agree more. Yes. And your philanthropic adventures have been just, so good, not only for the city of Austin, but all over the globe, between what you do with WWE, what you guys do with Busted Open, just a fantastic effort. And, you're right. It's a blessing through hard work and determination and and persistence. So it's really cool. How many times did she get to travel with you when you were still wrestling?
Oh, she went to about 10 shows, 10, 15 shows, and most of them were Texas, Louisiana. She went to Houston and Dallas and San Antonio at least 3 or 4 times a piece, and Lafayette. Whenever we did shows in Beaumont at the Ford Arena, she would do those shows. But she got pretty sick, with the cancer, and passed away. But she got to experience it, man. She thought that, and she even made a TV appearance one time. When I was Sex with Chocolate, and me and China were dating, and they showed a clip of me acting a fool somehow, and she told me to come here and pinched me by the ear and started whooping me with a purse strap. So she got to be on TV. I mean, and you can talk about sports. I mean, not to segue out of where we are, but, I heard the intro, is it sports if we're not talking, if sports is not going on? Yeah. We talk about the history of the NFL. We talk about the history of the NBA, and we had an argument. Like the first full out argument of the guys that I'm on the show with was about the college basketball greatest player that ESPN did. And everybody knows that there's no competition, that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor is the guy. Michael Jordan was good, but Michael Jordan wasn't the best player on his team when he was in college. James Worthy was. So we started talking about all these arguments, but you have to base it on fact. You can't make it your opinion. And that's what all of these people are doing. They're making it an opinion. Oh, Michael Jordan, he was the most clutch, and you got to see that when he got to the NBA. No, Michael Jordan barely made his high school team. He blossomed late. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when they handed him a basketball the first day. He's 7'2". He was at one point in high school at Power. He was 6'9", and as a junior in high school. So he never played when he was at a deficit. He's always played at a high level, and it didn't change anything when he went to UCLA except for the coaching that he got, but he just kept growing and kept blossoming. And there's very few guys that can say they won state championships, college championships, and pro championships. And he was the MVP of every level. Michael Jordan didn't do that.
That's true.
So you cannot give me the argument that Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player ever. He may have been the greatest Chicago Bull. He may have been the greatest guy in the finals, in the NBA finals. But when you start giving that high praise, you might want to look around. there's a big 7'2" guy with a sky hook that always is going to have something to say about that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. His name is Mark Henry. The show is called It's Not a Sports Show. Find it on YouTube. Find it on wherever you get your favorite podcast. Follow him on Twitter at the Mark Henry. Follow It's Not a Sports Show on Twitter at Not a Sports in the numeral 1, and catch up on everything that he and the gang are doing there on It's Not a Sports Show. Mark, thank you so much for giving us your time, my friend. All the best to you.
I can't wait for wrestling to start rolling again in Texas.
I know.
So I could come to some of these shows with you.
We need to make that happen. We're going to do we may have to do some road trips and hit some of these shows that we get to see around the state, some of the independent shows. So, but yeah, all the best to you, my friend. Good luck with the show, and anything you ever need from us, you know how to find us.
Well, I want you. I want you to be a guest soon.
I do. I will be. You name the time. I'll be there.
You guys need to have a flex
Sunday.
off.
You got it.
You need to have a flex off.
We'll do Sunday.
I want to hear a flex off.
All right. Oh, we're gonna have a flex off.
Well,
That'll be the first.
I'll
That'll be the first episode of a flex off on our show.
Fair enough. Thanks again, Mark.
All right, man. It's good talking to you, brother.